Hello and welcome to my kitchen. I'm Judith. Today I am making fish tacos. I love fish tacos, but like some people use a very large fish fillet, something that you would serve as fish and chips, maybe not quite that large in the taco. I'm not fond of that. I like my fish pieces small. I do like them battered and deep fried, but I like several little bits. So we have rockfish, which we will clean up in a second. And for the batter, some just regular all-purpose flour, pinch of salt, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, and I'll show you my secret how to make your batter super airy and crispy and crunchy in just a minute. To garnish our tacos, cilantro, some coleslaw, I will show you how to make that a little bit later, and queso fresco, which is like Mexican cheese. You just grate it on. It's optional, you can leave it out if you don't want it. And of course, tortillas, which I have purchased my tortillas today, and they are apparently the original recipe, but they are a flour tortilla and free from artificial flavors or colors. So first thing we have to do is clean up our fish, make sure there's no bones, get it ready for the fryer, and make our batter. So pat your fish dry, because it's not going to work if your fish is overly wet. You may, depending on your fish and how wet it actually is, want to dredge it in some cornstarch or tapioca starch first. Okay, now check for bones. Yeah, I'm feeling a few there. So you just cut along that, because we do want small pieces. There you go, cat. I absolutely felt bones there, but I don't feel them now. It's strange. Okay, maybe it was just a cartilage. Okay, so I'm going to cut fairly small pieces here. And those ones are long and thin, so we can leave them a little larger. Okay. So like I say, you can dredge them in some cornstarch. That will help the batter stick and not be all soft in the middle. So let me get a bowl of cornstarch and let's start dredging. So just put your fish in a bowl. It doesn't have to be a particularly large bowl, just one big enough for the fish. Put in a tablespoon, well, that's probably a couple of tablespoons of cornstarch, and toss it in. Just make sure they're all coated. We can set that aside until we have our oil heated up and our batter made. To make our coleslaw to go in the fish tacos, we need some cabbage, carrot, red onion, and cilantro, which is optional, lime, mayo, and a little bit of sugar. I am using, let's get these out of the way, a Taiwan sweet cabbage. As it says, it's sweet. It is sweeter than the regular cabbage, so we want to use that one. If you can't find that, regular cabbage does work. So I have a wonderful mandolin, and I'm going to turn it to the finest setting. Normally for coleslaw, I would turn it a little bit wider, but I want this to be a very fine coleslaw. So I'm just going to take our cabbage. I'm going to need that, so let's just get that out of the way. And start slicing. Now I'm not going to make a whole lot because this is just for the tacos. Or somebody could have as for a side if they wished. And I have a red onion, half a red onion. That's way more than we're going to need. Then let's close that back up. Other end is a grater. It's actually optional to peel the carrot. Just gonna take that end off. And in all vegetables, all the nutrients are right below the skin. So if you keep the skin on, you are getting more nutrients. There we go. And that is quick. As I said, we're not making a whole lot of coleslaw. Just a little bit to go on the fish tacos. And our dressing consists of about a quarter cup, probably a third of a cup of mayo. A good squeeze of lime juice is about a third of a lime. We're going to start with about a teaspoon of sugar. And just stir it until the sugar is dissolved and everything's incorporated and it's smooth. You might want to use a whisk for this, but a spoon does work. It takes a little bit longer to get it smooth. Okay, then we want a taste. I think just a little more sugar. It's another half teaspoon. Perfection. So then we are going to dump our dressing into our coleslaw mix. And get it all nicely coated. Now I am going to leave the cilantro out, because I know one person that's going to be eating this doesn't particularly care for cilantro, and it can always be added separately. There we go, let's have a taste here. Maybe I should have cut. Lovely. Sweet, tangy, absolutely perfect. Okay, time to make our batter for the fish. And I'll let you know my secret ingredient. And this is why we don't make our batter until our oil is hot, our fish is ready, and we want to fry it. We have to do this immediately. So I have about a cup of flour, depending on how much fish you're doing, a little less, a little more. 1 teaspoon of baking powder, which didn't want to go in the bowl. A half a teaspoon of salt. Mix those together. And the secret ingredient, do not use water. Use really cold club soda. And don't stir vigorously. We want to fold it in. We want to keep those bubbles. I think that should be enough. We want it to be a fairly thick batter. And it will be lumpy, and that's okay. Okay, so sort of a medium thick batter. Not super thick, but that's the way we want it. And now we have to immediately start working with our fish because we don't want those bubbles to break down. Now that your oil is hot, which it should be before you mix your batter, you take your fish that you have coated in cornstarch and throw it into the batter. Now, toss to coat. If you've used a big enough bowl, you can do it all. Like you can throw it all in the batter at one time. But we can't cook it all at one time, obviously, or we're going to overcrowd our pan and our oil is going to get cold. So, make sure your fish is well battered. And then we're going to put it in the pot. Let's take a piece of fish. Now you don't want to put it in the basket with, if the basket's out of the oil, you want to put the fish in and wait for it to sear a little, like the batter to cook a bit so it doesn't stick to the bottom. And we're doing this at the hottest setting of my deep fryer, which I think is 375. I no longer know because the numbers wore off years ago. But it really doesn't get super hot. And we just continue to fill up our basket. So I'm sorry, I know this is a dark corner in my kitchen, but when the batter has gone a nice golden brown, pull them out and drain them on some kitchen towel. Do this in batches, unless you're only cooking a couple of small pieces. You can serve this with many different condiments. It's up to you and up to what your guests like. I have salsa, cilantro, lime, guacamole, coleslaw. Not your typical coleslaw, but the dressing's made with lime rather than vinegar, so it's a little sharper. So you just have to watch how much sugar you put in it. And queso fresco. Queso fresco. So what you do is you take one of your nice warm tortillas, and if you're using guacamole, you're going to put the guacamole in the bottom. And then you're going to put your fish, and I like small pieces. So a couple of small pieces of fish. Smallish. And I'm going to sprinkle some of the queso fresco over. Now this is a crumbly cheese and it's not a melty cheese, so you're not going to melt it like you would cheddar or something. But if you're in Mexico, you're not going to find cheddar. That's, you know, Tex-Mex. Then I want some of the coleslaw. And this is a much finer slice on the coleslaw than you would find in a regular one. And some cilantro. And just a squish of lime. Now if you think I cut my lime funny, that is because I watch a lot of Thai cooking videos and that's the way they cut the lime. And I've discovered it is much easier to get the juice of the lime if you cut it like that. So you don't cut it right down the center, you cut on the side. So let's see how this turns out. Peek in there. I didn't even put any salsa in, so let's add a little bit of salsa. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. I do hope you try the recipe. Fish batter will work for fish and chips as well. I mean, you can use it for any fish. Thank you so much for watching. Please, if you enjoyed the video, give it a like. Try the recipe. You won't be disappointed. Subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon, and then you know when I put up a new video. Check out my Instagram. I do put up a notification of what's coming up next in the middle of the week. I will see you again soon. Thank you so much.